sponsoring your channel, doing a sub.
Yeah?
I'm on my everything for Twitch is like on my stepfather's account, Amazon account. So I've got an Amazon account now, but I've got to set up another Twitch account connected to that Amazon account or something. So
Well, there should be a way. I think there's a way to change out your. I would think there's got to be a way to
there's
change
got to
that
be a
out.
way. I mean, I'm sure people have more than one Amazon account for family and stuff. So
No, that doesn't seem right. That's okay. I mean,
no, no, no,
just
no.
you just you
I get
just
a free
lose
sub
out.
every month. So
I know you just lose out on pennies. That's all. Or actually, well, you gotta kind of be on it, and give me, let me know,
yeah, yeah.
pings, because then you get to pick a spot in the mini and
Sure.
tell me how. I mean,
I
those
tell
that
you,
mini's getting cool, man.
you're the only reason why I watch Twitch. Carol.
Oh, you
That is
actually.
awesome.
Oh, you can't even like see it, damn it. It's not gonna work. Oh,
There
there
you
we
go.
go.
It's focusing. Yeah.
So ignore
Oh,
the
okay.
blue. Ignore the blue. But
Okay.
everything else so far, the red and stuff, that's all. That's just what subscribers pick.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that's the deal. If you subscribe, then you pick where you gift. Then you get
Right.
to pick a spot on it and tell me how you made it. And then there's some crazy things actually people have proposed. I
Yeah, I
love
saw
they
the
have.
one with the galaxy with the flag. I was like, the
Yeah,
gal.
the platinum. Yeah, the tartan the galaxy in the back. Birch bark. Somebody wanted birch bark in the other one, so we got birch bark in this one. Who likes the birch bark?
Round robin, what you got?
Yep.
Oh, hey, we're live. Yay. Thank you, folks, for tuning in tonight for Murder Hobo Incorporated. Tonight is our Socium project. Every other week from BTR, we started this little project at the beginning of the year, and gosh, we're already up to October, man. So basically what the Socium project is, it's a culmination of all the input from all our GMs that are participating in this, and everything's going to be compiled together for an adventure to be tied up towards the end of the year, which is coming soon. So if you're following us on for the first time, thank you. If you found us here on YouTube, then awesome, that's great. If you like us, at the end of the show, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button, folks. You can also hit the notification button. That way, whenever we go live, we have our shows, we have our talk shows. Socium tonight's one shots, adventures. Hey, we got campaigns going. So yeah, this is Murder Hobo. Anyway, I'd like to thank our sponsors tonight. Our sponsors are Oddfish Games. Oddfish Games has been with us, since I've been part of Murder Hobo, probably even long before that. So they are known for how to RPG with your cat, which is a great project that they had put together. And basically, it's just how to play a tabletop role-playing game based on what your cat does. So it's pretty awesome. They come up with a writing system. They just, I think, come off a Kickstarter with their Radiance project. And Frank, what was the original one?
The Shine system to make
Shine
be a better
system.
writer than me.
Yes. Radiance is actually geared towards writing for creative writing for RPGs and things like that. So so thank you, Oddfish Games, for that. They're also known for their adventure sets. Yes, they've got a set for all of your adventure needs, folks. Anything from Flowery Meadow to Putrid Sewer. Is that Putrid Sewer that you're holding up, Frank?
Fuck no, I don't keep Putrid Sewer in this house.
We do not recommend deeply inhaling all these scents or anything like this. Kyle almost died.
Which was funny.
It was funny.
I love the fact that on our Discord, who was it? Oh God, who was it? Actually clipped that particular scene where Kyle
that was Frank.
Killed.
Frank did that. He posted it.
Frank, was it?
I clipped it. Somebody else posted
you
it.
did. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you actually got the clip.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Adventure scents, folks. This is your
reload.
warning. Don't inhale them. So, yes. Also, I'd like to thank Pirate Dog Dice. Pirate Dog Dice. They're great for making math rocks.
Meth
Frank's
rocks.
infamous Big Red. I mean, Carrie did one for me too, and I think she's got some. I think she made some dice for Jesse recently. Anyway, she's finally getting caught up on her orders. So if you're interested in new dice, just hit her up at Pirate Dog Dice on Twitter. Send her a message or email.
We have not had a person die in a month. We're on a roll.
Yeah, we're on a roll. So. Free and clear for making dice now. So, but
that's great.
Anyway.
Well, I'm glad. And I know she was working on mine, so I'm really excited to eventually.
She's busy.
Get them.
She's got a waiting list.
I can't wait to get them.
So
hopefully before the campaign ends, which is not for a while.
All right, folks.
A while ago.
Let me go ahead and introduce everybody tonight. I'm going to start off. Spencer.
Hello.
Who you are, man, and tell us a little bit about you.
I'm Spencer. I'm a DM of 20 years now. I've been playing and writing Dungeons and Dragons since I was a wee lad, about 10 years old. And so I've been having a wonderful time this year making my 2 regions. It's been a blast. And I hope to continue to be running some stuff. I'm thinking about hopping on that Murder HoboCon 3. Thinking you all need some help.
Yes.
Running a few events.
We're about to make that grand announcement. I think, Frank, you tweeted about it yet? Murder Hobo Con 3? Yes, we're doing the 3rd one, folks. It's only going to be one day this year, but it's going to be great. We got a good virtual venue for it, so it's going to be awesome.
I've heard.
Yeah. So
Carol, who are you? And yeah.
Said who I am. Hi, everyone. He said my name is Carol. I'm a longtime gamer, occasional GM, and commission mini painter. I have a mini painting stream on that other place,
You
Twitch.
can say Twitch. We don't mind.
Known as Muses_Touch. And I actually will be streaming tomorrow night at what time? 8:30 p.m. Eastern on there. And my schedule's there as such. On this channel, other than being part of this awesome Socium project, I'm also on the Craig campaign, which resumes this week. And we're probably all going to die. But our lives are kind of held in the
I don't know. You've
balance.
already got a body count on that show, Sal.
We do have body count on the show, and we're all really low. And we have basically where we left is we have a very unpredictable Jeremiah, former bodyguard, ghoul, and insane that we're dealing with, who could just as easily turn on us, and already did, and murder us all. And
Well,
I've
don't
got about
spoil it, Carol.
I can't spoil it. I don't know what's going to happen. I've got about, I don't even think I have 15 hit points. So we're in bad shape right now. Tune in because it'll be awesome.
I was about to say that.
Or it will implode in the most spectacular
I vote that one.
possible.
That's my vote.
What, implode?
Yep.
All right.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yes. And our next person for introductions is our fearless leader, Frank. Frank, why don't you tell us about it? Nobody ever gets to ask you about yourself, man. So tell us a little bit about you.
I am insignificant. I am the second oldest murder hobo here, the eldest being Grandpa Frank on Sundays, the Margoo campaign. If you've never seen it, that is a shit show entirely. Along with these guys, I helped create this show. I write shit a little bit. I
Don't let him fool you,
this.
folks. He writes a lot.
Yeah, you know what? I've only written one thing in 2 months, and
Wow.
yeah, there for a while I was at 6. But I'm busy. I'm planning Murder Hobo Con 3. Good news, it's done. 3 hours. Got it all squared away. We're limiting it to 1 day, 125 participants. We've got 4 game sessions already. I got a handful of people signed up already. It's going to be great. It's February 11th. It's a Saturday before Valentine's Day, 7 to 10:30. It's going to be fun. Sign up. If you want to run something, by all means, jump in. We do not mind at all. It's going to cost $6 a head, and that gets you into the whole thing. So you can play 10 things if you want, still just $6. Sponsors, I think I dropped the price to $20. So if you're interested, hit us up here at MHobo Inc. or at ConHobo or mhoboinc at Gmail or murderhobocon@gmail. You can get a hold of us. It's going to be off the hook for our 3rd offering. I'm just happy to be part of this Socium group because these guys make me think. Back to you, David.
All right, thank you. So, yes, folks, we have Murder HoboCon 3. We are looking for sponsors. So, like, for example, if you're, a content creator or whatever, you create music or anything like that, hey, you can, we'll go ahead and connect you up into Ron.
Maybe a humble mini painter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got mini painters. So, yes, so we're always looking for that.
I just realized February, you know what? February is actually a busy month for conventions now because that'll be my 3rd one. I have one the first weekend and then will be that. And then I think I have a week off and then I'll have one more.
That's a lot.
It's insane.
Yeah,
but you can sit on your ass for ours.
That's right. That's
that's
it.
That's the selling point.
I don't do shit for this. I mean,
you can show up in your jammies, folks. Hey, it doesn't matter. I think we've had people do that. So
because I'm going to be hopefully teaching classes at Captain Con, which is in Rhode Island, I believe. I'm going to have to figure that out. And then the 2 weeks after RoboCon is TotalCon, which is the biggest gaming convention in New England, which I think Frank should attend and bring his Phil Bar stuff, but because it's actually that type of con. We have a lot of industry type guests and such that show up. We've had the pondsmiths, who do what the hell's it? Cyberpunk.
Hey, are we doing Socium tonight?
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm just sorry.
It's the Carol show. Hey.
Yeah, you're talking about cons, so I kind of got on the con thing. But
That's okay. That's all right.
I'm trying to convince you to come, Frank. That's why.
Does this face look like it's convinced?
All right, the train has left the station, folks. So, so we're going to start off tonight. Tonight's subject is magic items. We've been covering everything from the creation of the world, and now we're up to the point of actually filling it with magic itself. So, why don't we kick off tonight with Spencer, sir?
Sure.
Why don't you give us an idea of what you have in store for magic items for your region.
Sure. We'll start with the Golden Sea first. So once again, quick rundown. Golden Sea is a primarily plains area of almost entirely dry grassland. That's what most of it is. The one big water source are actually semi-sentient psychic rolling reefs that create colonies of coral that roll across the dry landscape, providing water to the grasses, bringing forth flowers and all sorts of greenery. And that is where the people, the meandering caravans, travel across the Golden Sea, following these rolling reefs. And so it's kind of been the whole basis of this region I've had in mind. The moa are the large flightless birds that most of the people ride around to keep up with the reefs as they travel around. So those are some of the main sticking points that we need to remember. Now, so the magic item I've thought of are what I are calling coral rods. And these are rods of coral. Okay, good. These are rods of coral that are crafted from dead or dying or broken pieces of reef. So every once in a while, the caravans, the nomads will come across a reef that's lost all its moisture. All the water is gone. It's a very sad sight to see these fallen chunks of coral rock. And so they, in a ceremony and semi-magical, collect and harvest the coral into a rod or a necklace or a bracelet, some form of amulet of some type that they can wield and hold on to. Now, when dry and dead this way or dormant, the coral doesn't do much. It primarily acts as a dowsing rod and directs people to a nearby water source so that the caravans can find other reefs and quickly get to more water, because otherwise they would perish just as quickly as the dead reef did. But when they are within close enough distance, they are quickly tugged into the water that they are able to find, and the coral soaks up as much water as possible over the course of about an hour. And then the coral becomes active. They are now awoken, and they gain the same kind of semi-psychic water controlling ability that the larger reefs do as a whole. That allows the wielder to cast control water at will, shape water at will in order to shape the water into their own desire, and control water 3 times a day. To be able to create whirlpools or giant waves or split water as they want to into these pretty impressive things. There are stories of some particularly powerful coral rods and maybe even full coral staves that allow people to attack others with water or create cages out of water that are particularly powerful. But those are few and far between. Some of them are kind of myths that are hidden. And it is known that the people of Restholm who enjoy their water sports so much, their blitzball-esque sporting events, they use some of these coral rods to shape their watery, half swimming, half running sporting events as well.
That sounds pretty cool. Sounds like you could have hydromancers as
correct.
A subclass.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds cool. Now, the coral itself,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Does it have, other than the properties that you had? Is there anything connected to the coral? Like, I don't know. Say like a creature, like some kind of spectral anemone or something like that, or something that.
Yeah. So the reefs themselves have a bunch of creatures living in them at the time. But like when they're rods, it's just kind of the rocky coral, right? And coral is a
Gotcha.
living creature already, and so they're taking. So it's like some of like the really powerful ones, these like mythical staves, they might have like other living creatures like, you know, coral anemones or full on other things living inside of them or on them. Perhaps they're more alive than others. But the usual coral like amulets or rods are primarily just the dead coral. And they aren't really coming back to life, but they're like a semblance of life because the coral themselves are psychic. They gain this kind of psychic energy from living deep under the waves next to the primordial thing that's living in Mount Kairos.
Gotcha. That sounds awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something that's like, okay, so what's a magical item that would be important to the people that would like actually impact their daily life? That's kind of where I took this, because I think that in terms of fantasy worlds, you know, to make it fantasy, something needs to really be impacting people's daily life in order for us to think it's a different world. So that was kind of my go-to.
Well, I really like the fact that they can guide you to sources of water, like you said. So that's awesome, like a dowsing rod, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Question.
Yeah.
Is it only leading you to fresh water, or can it lead you to salt water, or can it lead you to a polluted water in case you're looking for some kind of an issue, or
It will lead you to the nearest water source. And the closer you are to water source, the more violently it will lead you until it is soaked. So if it is a totally dry rod, it will just like, you know, tilt in the direction of a water if you're further than a mile away. But as you get closer and closer, it's like going to start violently tugging you in that direction until you are like being pulled off your feet into whatever the largest body of water is nearby. The coral doesn't care about salt or fresh water. That was a discussion we had before. So it could lead you to salt water. It could lead you to fresh water. The coral doesn't know if water is polluted or not. It just knows that there's water. So it could easily lead you into a swamp full of sulfuric water that will just as easily kill you. Or poisoned water that'll be tainted or anything of that nature. Yeah. The other thing I failed to mention is each of these items is considered sacred by the caravans that travel the Golden Sea by the nomadic peoples. They treat them with reverence. They wear them proudly when they are active. They hide and secret them away in different places when they don't need to be used often. So they're seen as a very protective thing, and thus attacking or destroying any coral to make more rods is taboo. Even though it could be very valuable to some people, especially those living in the desert, actively trying to make more rods is considered a big no-no by the people of the Golden Sea, which means a potentially lucrative business opportunity is being left out on.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Or, you know, a potential adventure hook.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Carol, what do you have in store for us tonight with your area?
All right. So the first area, I'll start with the elves again. And this is like an actual, like almost artifact level item. It's called the Harp of Nature's Blessing. Now, if you recall, the elves there are very much a nature worshiping culture. So I was like, all right, I'll go with a harp that can do nature effects. I actually have a description. The harp's handle is carved out of a special rare wood found only in Triskelion. I did not come up with the name of it, but yeah, it's just a rare wood that's only found there. And the strings are made of gold. When it is plucked in certain patterns, or certain songs, you get different effects. They can be anything from like, oh my God, create a little rain shower to outrightly controlling the weather. And maybe, you know, I'm trying to think of like what spells there are. I mean, there's a zillion nature spells. Basically, I was thinking a dungeon master could actually really customize this thing by going through the druid spell list and I think that's actually ultimately is leave it to the GMs to come up with what the exact effects, because I'm leaving that kind of open. But yeah, the more complicated the pattern, the bigger the spell. So if you wanted to, you had a suffering from drought and you needed to summon up a large soaking rainstorm, there you go. Also, they could take that item and they can use it to communicate with the Illuvian spirits, which, if you recall back from religion, that is sort of basically the spirits in nature that they can communicate and they sort of venerate as well. And oftentimes, right now, I didn't write this down, but it is in the hands. Let's see, what did I call? What did I title it? The Master of Elements, which basically is their church leader. He or she are the one who has possession of it and is passed down from master to master and master over generations. And it is kept under guard. It is one of the most holy relics of the entire kingdom. That probably is the most holy relic of the entire kingdom. So that's about it. I mean, I said I didn't really get into like details of what spells to put in it, but I was thinking, I was thinking like control weather was one of the ones. I don't know I don't remember what the D&D spells are.
Wow.
I've been so stuck in because my husband plays a druid in that Pathfinder game, so I'm so stuck on those spells. Rather than entangle would be a good one. Yeah.
Control weather is one.
Fog cloud would be good.
Fly.
Yeah, pretty much. Fly.
Lightning storm. What's the
meteor storm?
There's the one that like meteor. Oh yeah, meteor storm would be a real complicated one.
Storm,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's like you can pretty much put any of them in there you want, as long as it's a nature-based spell.
Is there a book of music that so you don't pluck the wrong chord and just fuck yourself over?
Actually, no. It might be better to have it because they don't want people to just use it. Yeah, but maybe better that maybe the music has been taught and passed down through generations from one master to the other. They're basically the only wielder.
What if it got stolen?
Exactly. What if it gets stolen?
By pirates.
Well, then, the pirates. The pirates.
Nazi dwarves.
Pirates. Nazi dwarves are possible, yes, but then they would totally use it, fuck it up. I mean.
So do you have to know what you're trying to play in order to make a spell, or say you have to make a performance check, right, in order to use it and cast a certain spell, like a certain DC to cast Meteor Swarm versus Entangle or like Plant Growth or whatever?
Good call.
And then what if you fuck it up? Can you cast something else on accident?
You know what? That's a GM call. I was gonna say no. There's actually maybe there is. All right. So maybe,
I'd say 100% yes.
I'll tell you what. Maybe I was gonna say maybe there is actually a book of songs somewhere for it that the Meister has. I keep calling it a Meister. I've been watching too much Game of Thrones lately.
I was about to say it's just like
someone who plays music's a maestro.
No, a maestro. Yeah, it could be. Oh, the maestro.
Yeah, maestro.
Nature. Ooh, maybe I'll change my title.
That's the person who plays music, right? They're a maestro, so that would be it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
master of music.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call it maestro of the elements. That would be
the maestro
cool.
from Seinfeld.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go back to my old the religion one and call it the maestro of elements. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
No,
all right, let's see. Yes, there will be a book of songs. But still, the masters do teach each other. I mean, it does help to have a teacher to teach you how to read the notes.
Mm-hmm.
Because come to think of it, there would be. It depends on how many effects the GM wants that harp to have. I said I'll leave it open. As for whether or not you can fuck it up, I mean, there's a certain song list. So I mean, I would like to think that you have to play those songs to get those effects, and if you play just something random on it, it's not going to do anything. Sorry, that's sort of the way I view it. Now, if you go in and maybe you play a song and have one sour note, then yes, in that case, I could see that going wrong. But you got to specifically play that song and screw it up. So you can't. So basically, yeah, someone stole it without the books, without the music. It's almost said I'm on the fence because if you have the book of music, that can be stolen too. But on the other hand, if it's just taught by, like what things, passed down through generations and just taught from, but to me, that's a lot to remember too. So
perhaps the book was some of the book was stolen, or maybe there's multiple folios of music, right? And because we're thinking of the elements in weather, right? You could divide the elements into the 4 classical Greek elements, earth, water, air, fire, and each folio is a different type of element that could be controlled and would offer that, right? Because like most music in terms of sheet music has never been kept into a single book. It's usually collected into different folios.
The sea dirges of the water elemental clan.
I'm gonna have it. I want it to be one book. It's not like a huge. All right, it's not a book that's this big. Okay, it's that big. It's not. It's whatever the GM wants to do it. And I would think though that you wouldn't want.
You're the GM.
I know, but I'm writing the item so if GMs want to use it. That's the way I view it more than I'm the GM. If I'm the GM, I will make up a specific list, and it will not be something like a huge laundry list. I think most GMs I think would want just a set list of powers, maybe like per level. And maybe actually, in truth be told, I think, there's got to be a minimum performance score you need to hit.
Oh, yeah.
To actually be able to execute that. And maybe even a minimum level you have to be to do it. Because, sorry, I'm not going to have a first level caster, casting like fly, which is a much higher level spell. So, unless they get shit lucky, nat 20s happen. But even then, some things should be out of that realm of possibility when you're that low level.
Yeah, you could have it be bound by level or bound by like proficiency score or something, or like
bound by level. Yeah. So
there's a book of songs. I'm gonna add that to my notes.
Just coming up with it right off the top of your head, huh, Carol?
The shark
I do that.
Disagree.
Actually, half of a lot of my entries in this, and I'm actually handwriting them all. I'm going to have to eventually, put them on computer or something. But a lot of times, things will just hit me. Usually it's when I'm writing or even when I'm talking about it, things will hit me and strike me that I should add. So I'm adding notes while I'm talking. So,
Gotcha.
Or even while I'm sitting here listening to you guys, sometimes you guys help generate ideas too.
That's what we're here for.
Yep.
So, Frank, what you got for us for your area?
Frank left all his notes at work, so I had to come up with 2 new ones. So I will.
It's magic items. They're easy to bullshit.
Do you guys want a magic item, or do you want a cursed magic item?
Cursed.
Cursed it is. The Charleston boots are a magical item.
Oh, no.
Hang on here.
But don't these exist already?
I don't know.
Aren't there boots of dancing? Well, there are boots of dancing, but isn't there something?
Well, yeah, but this only makes you do the Charleston.
Of course it does.
That is funny.
And it's a trick because the 26th Empress of Aquinas, Herpinius, had a problem with lovers. They always got the wandering eye. So to combat this, she had these Charleston boots created specifically for her lovers. She would give them as a gift. They are a high quality item, very fine craftsmanship, look great. But in case they got the wandering eye, the wearer would immediately break into the Charleston and look like an idiot. The last lover she took is the one responsible for her untimely death because she only survived 4 months and 3 days. Her angry lover, Pinus, did not find the sense of humor in it and beat her to death with the Charleston boots. He was summarily executed, and the boots were lost to time.
Wow.
Since the humanoid invasion of Aquinas a few years ago from the great nation of Tar, these boots have only been spotted infrequently at best. Now, most rulers on the eastern edge of the world are aware of this, and the items would like to be the pair would like to be obtained so that the magic could be exploited and turned into a different thing. Say if the person wears them is lying, if the person there has malintention, save yourself the insight check. But the Charleston boots are noted for their magical shitty dancing ability. Once donned, they fit anybody from a halfling on up. They magically change themselves like Marty McFly's Nikes. But they are always of high quality. Although mundane looking, they are not ostentatious in any manner. There's no etchings or engravings or digs on it. There's no rhinestones or anything of that nature. They're just high quality boots that can be mistaken for any other kind of footwear. But I suppose the maker of the Charleston boots would not have just stopped at the Charleston. He might have done the Tone Loc. So, maybe a little bit of funky cold Medina boots. Or pick
The mosh boots.
Yeah,
I can see orcs.
Now, those have got to be Doc Martens.
Exactly.
Those have got to be Doc Martens.
But there have to be more than one pair of those to make a full pit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to have at least 2 pair. There could even be the Tequila Lowriders from Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
Pee Wee Herman, the white shoes. The white platform
You also
shoes.
how about a pair? I think they were like loafers he wore and a glove. So how about the moonwalk? The moonwalk shoes.
You can only walk backwards.
You can only walk backwards.
Yeah, only walk backwards.
And you have to have the glove too. The single glove.
You're on the streets of Waterdeep or wherever, and you just got a moonwalk all down the street.
That's right.
That'd be hilarious.
But you know what? Is it cursed? Well, maybe. It's not cursed to the person who gives it to you because they've got ulterior motives. But to the wearer, certainly these are cursed. So,
Question.
Yes.
Can you take them off? Cursed items, a lot of times you cannot remove.
These items will stay on a die roll, D6 weeks. 1d6 weeks.
Oh, okay, so it's not a permanent.
But you know what? While they are cursed, they are waterproof. They are comfortable. You do not get rocks in your boots. So if you're on an expedition to the mountains, that's great. I would, however, caution you to make sure that you have your alternative footwear available, because if you're climbing the peaks of the Silver Mountains and the Charleston boots go away, you could be in a little bit of trouble as you walk around barefoot.
So they just disappear to a random location.
Random location.
Wow.
Are you allowed to sleep when you wear them?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they turn into bunny slippers.
Oh my God!
Maybe
would want
that's
this
what
for
Rob
6 months.
has in Calamity. Maybe
Yeah.
that's Charleston.
I would just pay someone to put me to sleep for a week, right? Or like a month.
Yeah. But, you know what? Maybe they also have protection against pit traps. So,
That's pretty good too.
yeah, because they can't be damaged.
These don't
So they're
seem very
kinda
cursed to me.
Well, you know what? Bad things will happen. You look like an idiot.
It's kind of like Otto's irresistible dance. You just start breaking out.
Exactly. So,
Nice.
maybe there's some Western apparel and you have to do line dancing to Travis Tritt or something.
What about some nice clogs? Get some.
That's right.
Exactly. Oh,
So
man.
that is one of the 2 items I came up with, the Charleston boots.
Love them. Love them.
Nice. Love it.
Any
That
other
is
questions?
awesome. No, man. It's just, what made you think of the Charleston? I mean, just the most ridiculous dance you could think of, or
The other thing I got is the honker staff. So if we get to me again, you'll get another interesting story. But yeah, the
no, I
Charleston
love
boots
it.
I just randomly plucked out of the air, just like
Nice.
Murder
That's
HoboCon
great.
3, February 11th.
That's it,
Gonna
folks. You're
pitch
hearing
that
it first
shit
here.
constantly. Back to you, David.
Alrighty, alrighty.
Hilarious.
Let's move on to our next area. We'll start again with Spencer.
All right. So once again, I took this as like something that is essential to the region, and so Kaizen, something I've mentioned a couple times is the goblinoids of Kaizen are very industrious. Specifically, the goblin tech engineers. They do a lot of building and engineering. They make a lot of tunnels in and around the Dragonclaw Mountains. They built the Bridge of Kais. They have a very powerful navy that's made out of metal. And it is the metal itself that I decided to focus on because it's semi-magical. We call it shimmer steel. So it's known as shimmer steel because it is created from the heat of the molten rock of Mount Kairos. It's infused with kind of the magic of the primordial that is down there in the volcano. Only the forges are secret, only known to the High Foreman and the Central Eye. So that is the highest level of the seer, the religion of Kaizen, and the highest level of the engineers, the High Foreman. They're the only two who really know the specific location of this place. And to be brought into the forges, you are blindfolded and brought in secretly, so you never know where it really is deep underground. This metal is very dark. It's nearly black, but what gives it its name is when you shine it with like dim light, so generally twilight and morning hours, or in the dark depths of the volcano itself lit by the molten rock, it shines and shimmers the all colors of the rainbow. So when you look at the Bridge of Kais at twilight and at dawn, it is a various multitude of colors, just a bright rainbow of colors. That's kind of where it gives it its color, its name of shimmer steel.
Nice.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Now, the forge is secret and hidden, and to keep the shipments of shimmer steel safe, which are released once a week. So only once a week do shipments come out of Mount Kairos. They are sent through a different tunnel each week. They do eventually have to repeat tunnels, but you never know which tunnel it's going to come out of because it depends on where the shipment is going. A lot of the times the shipment will go to the Bridge of Kais for repairs or for general work or for trade. But often it goes to, it's the small port town right there at the bottom, Zeluth, which is the central port city where the Navy is being constructed, which creates the Rainbow Armada that they are building in order to patrol the entire southwestern region of the seas. Now, this metal is very powerful. It's very strong. The goblins quickly found out it is impervious to explosives, or as much explosive that they could get it to, because it's made in such the heat of the mountain. They've tested it significantly, and they've blown it up many times. They've also discovered that it tends to survive cave-ins. They've used it a lot in their tunnels in order to build pillars to hold up the tunnels. They have redug the tunnels and found the pillars exactly where they left them. So they're quite surprised by that. So they decided to use it for most of their major engineering feats. One of the techniques that they've developed in using it is a magical box that they have enchanted. So you hold a box and you can press a button on the box, and it creates a large 15 by 15 or 20 by 20 or larger room of the metal all around it. And this allows people to protect themselves from cave-ins or to create just a series of spaces deep inside the mountains made out of the shimmer steel. Now, obviously, that is very expensive and very pricey and important to the goblinoids. They try to keep the secret of its construction by them at all times. Obviously, since it is so impervious to heat and impervious to explosions, it makes for a really good armor. They've attempted to use it for weapons. It doesn't seem to take too well for enchanting for weapons, but every once in a while you'll see full bodyguards of the highest ranking generals decked out in shimmer steel. And in the low light of most of Kaizen, they are glowing the rainbow as they are walking through in full plate and ceremonial garb of shimmer steel. They are a sight to behold and a terror to those who know what it means.
Question.
That is cool.
Well,
Yes.
So the shimmer steel itself has to be fashioned. Can it only be fashioned in the one forge?
The secret forges, yes. That's the only place like it is made. Is made in like ingots that can then be shipped out. So that's like where the forging process takes place. You can then kind of mold it over time, but like it's still impervious to explosions. It can still melt. You can still like melt it, and you can still form it into what you want to form it into. But like explosions and hits are the things that kind of seems to be impervious to. Whether that's true or not, they're unsure.
Okay.
More testing is ongoing.
I was going to say,
Now,
they just
what-
haven't used enough.
Exactly. We just need more explosives.
Now, what about, okay, you said it resists explosions and things like that, but what about conductivity? If somebody casts the spell heat metal.
Oh, that'll
Somebody
still
would-
very much affect it. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Just
Oh,
making
yeah.
sure. Okay.
Oh, there's got to be a draw. I mean, like it's not
Oh, yeah.
magically resistant. No.
Yeah, that's that. Whenever somebody brings up plate armor or whatever, for a character, I'm just like, ooh, okay.
Heat metal as much as you want. Cast some lightning through it. That's fine.
Shocking
Yeah.
grasp.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. They're focused on can it survive a wallet?
Nice.
Does it get destroyed in a cave in? The answer seems to be no. We're working on that.
wait. So did you say that they have trouble enchanting it? Or is it only certain spells that they have trouble enchanting it with?
They can't seem to enchant it for offensive purposes. It doesn't seem to hold much of the like weapons don't seem to be very useful. Like so its resistance against damage itself, but it doesn't seem to hold much of an edge, like a sharp edge. So it's not good for blades. It's not good for weapons or like arrows or any of those types.
Well, what about like hammers?
Hammers could make a hammer. Yeah, it could make a pretty decent hammer. That seems to be like the best bet for it.
Could you also put like magic in it to make it resistant to maybe heat?
Oh yeah.
And stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. And that's definitely what the High General would have is their armor would most definitely be enchanted to protect against it. So yeah, if you
I may have missed this. How heavy is it to wear?
it is
heavy?
regular steel in terms of
Okay, so it's not like lighter. It's not like mithril or something where it's
No.
lighter than it. So it's just normal weight. Okay.
Yeah. They are using it to create ships, so it is not heavier than normal steel. They're able to still build ships out of it to construct their navy, which when seen from, by the way, because darkness, if you look at it from underneath the water, it's just rainbow. Just beautiful rainbow.
It's the rainbow tide
Hey.
coming in.
Yeah, exactly. It's the
Nice.
Rainbow Armada.
So, all right. Well, Carol, what you got for us?
All right. So of course I've got Sea Haven and I got the dwarves too. So for Sea Haven, I don't really come up with anything in particular. I just finished a pirate campaign, and I was just gonna throw it out there that there's like 50,000 things to inspire you to make pirate magic items. And I mean, this was just like a list of what I friggin' remembered from Skull and Shackles, and even the other source I think it was like Pirates of the Caribbean. Because like in Pirates of the Caribbean, they had the compass that would show you to your heart's desire. I always thought that was a good one. I try to remember. I remember there was the trident they were looking for. I don't remember what the friggin' thing it did though, but I do remember that existed. And then our list of like things we had, there was something called a ship in a bottle, which actually is also a Starfinder thing, where basically you put it on board your ship and you have like a fixed location. And if somebody does damage to your ship, it actually goes to a little replica of your ship appears in the bottle, and the damage goes to the replica in the ship. And when it takes so many hit points damage, it'll get ruined at that point, but you can mend it. You know, I just thought that was cool. We also had a cooking pot that did a hero's feast. We had a
That's cool.
figure, the figurehead. Oh my God, this saved my friggin' life. We had a figurehead that would, if you rammed another ship, it would curse that ship. Basically, it would give it minuses to its, stats to hit you or attack you. But it also would give the captain, temporary hit points, which was really handy a couple times. Let's see, she carried a sword named Brian Sting, which would do extra damage to aquatic creatures. There was so many to outfit your ships. If you really want to go ships, I mean, there's so many things you could do. You could have extra dimensional smuggler spaces. You can have sails that make you go faster. You can have a wheel that makes you more maneuverable. You could have, what else was there? There's the, let's see. I thought about cannons that do extra, that are more accurate to hit and do extra damage, or maybe they shoot instead of like cannonballs, they shoot like magic missiles that do force damage, and force damage gets through a lot of things. There's so much stuff that you can do with pirates. And then, so I was like, all right, well, that'd be really easy. But I actually came up with one because I haven't done much with the dwarves in Earthhome. And I came up with one. It seems pretty obvious, but they have a hammer called the Hammer of Crafting Might, which will add to like crafting checks to make magic items and such. The dwarves basically believe it was gifted from the gods. At the very least, it is blessed because it was gifted to them before. It's been around for a long time and older than the oldest living dwarf. So what they know about it is just what's been passed down over time. So it's rumored that if Moradin is in this particular part of the universe, Moradin or whatever, I don't remember if I actually came up with a dwarf. I think I did a dwarf pantheon. But basically it'd be the crafting god actually gifted it to them. It is made of silver and is covered in runes that glow. And when they actually strike it down, they glow dimly until they actually strike, and then they glow brightly. And they look like, best I could describe, like lava. That orangey glow to it, that orangey fiery glow. And it's kind of cool. So you get the silver, and then the runes just flare out when it happens. And so yes, they'll add to your crafting checks. They'll, you said once again, this is something GMs could have a blast with, actually creating real like the specifics of what it does, because there's so many possibilities. So I said, other than adding to your crafting check rolls to make your items prettier, also you could have it add pluses. You were going to make a +1 weapon, and if you make a high enough crafting check, then you can make a +2 weapon. For the same cost, you would have made a +1 weapon. Things like that. Or you can imbue it. So I basically said, too, it's also like a focus that if a cleric, they do have clerics that do craft, that the clerics can channel the magic through, that it chants those weapons. That's the focus they channel it through as it comes down. And then the magic is sent into that item. So I think that's what I have here. Yep, I think that's what I got here. So that's what I came up with for that. I know not a huge line description, but I think that's all there really needs to be. I mean, it's basically a hammer that helps create magic, the magic items. Sure. It's too bad the dwarves can't get together with those. What were they, goblins? Get together. The one we just had. We could make some really cool stuff with that.
If you ask Jeff, I think he's got some goblins in Paradise.
I'm sure he does. It's slaves, I'm sure.
So, all right, Frank, what you got for us, sir?
I got the honker staff.
Close us out.
That's right.
You got 10 minutes to talk about this.
5. We got to close out.
Yeah, we got to close out. Okay, so the honker staff, it comes from very unusual roots. When Ugros took over, when the humanoids of Ugros took over the domain of the hill dwarves and forced them across the sea, they expanded their domain all the way up to the Sangus River. Some of those humanoids attempted to cross this very wide, very destructive river and actually made it across to some farmers in the hills just north of Fjord's Bridge. In their quest for chaos, they burned a lot of the village itself, stole crops, stole things. But one thing that they did not steal is the farmers of Ligna don't use dogs. They use geese as watchdogs. So
That makes sense.
a collection of giant geese attack the humanoids to go ahead and give time for the farmers to go ahead and flee. In this combat, some of their prized geese succumbed to the injuries and fell. Well, one of the owners had a young boy named Minx. And Minx had grown these giant geese since the time he was, knee-high to a grasshopper. And he took the fatalities very hard. Now, his father had some magical skill because, even those crusty old farmers can be 8th level wizards and you shouldn't fuck with them. Margoo. So he decided to take one of the prized geese and turn it into a staff for his boy. Now, it's a little bit on the macabre side, but he took the head and neck of this giant goose and affixed it to a wooden hickory staff.
This is
a lot of lacquer, and he pinned it so that the head of the goose was still majestic on this staff, and he called it the Honker staff because, of course, the goose's name was Honker. So Minx could carry this staff around, and it actually allows him to talk to small, basic creatures. He can't talk to monsters or anything, but geese, giant weasels, badgers, things of that nature, and it gives him an advantage on just dealing with these. So animal handling advantage.
Okay.
One of the other things it does is, because they are trained, when danger approaches, the staff itself, honk, 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 very robotically, but Honker was a good boy, so it can also detect danger.
So he murdered. He
didn't murder the humanoids of Ugros. Crossed the river, murdered the flock of geese, including Honker. Honker was then not exactly resurrected, but
there is so many things wrong. There is so many things wrong.
I had 5 minutes to think this one up.
Story.
So now
it's a good one. I love it.
I mean, okay. At least he created from a goose that was already dead. Because if he freaking murdered the goose himself,
no, that would be wrong.
I mean, like, where's the Socium? Where's the Socium? Let's see. Socium ethical treatment. It'd be CETA.
CETA, yeah.
CETA.
Oh man,
it would be all over that.
So now my thought is, at some point in time, now that Minx is a young adult, maybe this staff gets stolen by nefarious individuals who then call upon its arcane powers to bring forth a small, either rodent or muskrat or whatever, small band of an army of badgers or something to attack, because of course the new owner is now a nefarious individual. So
I'm thinking
along those lines.
A polymorph spell for it too. It turns, instead of anything, a goose turns a person or another creature into a goose or something.
Go ahead, Spencer. I got one more idea after this.
I'm wondering how low challenge rating a child is in order to be controlled by the goose staff.
they could all
Yeah.
goose step in behind the honker staff.
Exactly.
Especially if they're
So-
dwarves. Nazi dwarves could goose step in with a honker staff. Now, here's another thing.
They're dead. So, I
Several
mean,
other minor magic items were created for the honker staff, such as a yellow rain slicker.
Are there galoshes?
There are galoshes. Just
Oh,
one, though.
crap.
Just
What is it?
one. And
No!
it's in the shape of a goose foot.
Oh, you gotta hop with it.
Yeah. Well, because you're carrying it, so that
Oh yeah. Oh, it's for the staff itself.
it's for the staff itself. And then you've got, the old lady dressing. You've got the stars and stripes for the Independence Day for Ligna. Maybe it shoots out fireworks. So if you can get your hands on some of these accoutrements, you got yourself a pretty good staff. And that
Oh,
is
my God.
the honker staff.
Yeah. No, that reminds me. A friend of mine's mother has a concrete goose in her front yard for the holidays.
That's
She decorates it.
That is what I was going for. So maybe
Nice.
cast snowball or something, or gives gifts. It's hard to say. But there's no Thanksgiving, so I forget what I call Thanksgiving in Ligna, but it disappears. It goes invisible.
It goes
Mysteriously
invisible
goes missing on Thanksgiving.
for Thanksgiving and Christmas where there's a goose involved. Yeah, the staff just
Yeah, the winter solstice is just gone.
Yeah, but
It's just
it's
gone.
got the lacquer head of Honker, the protective goose.
Oh
the
man,
Honker staff.
oh
When
my
you
God.
It's
when
funny.
you're around, ask Minx the farmer. He'll tell you all about it.
wow.
Anything
Okay,
else?
Wow, I'm not sure what to make
I
of
think
that.
that's what we got, folks.
Hey, for 5
tonight.
minutes, I think I came up with a pair of dumbass ideas.
You did. I'll go with that.
And,
Sure.
and Anja,
sure.
there is while you were
Anja,
talking,
yeah.
while you
I
were
left
talking,
Mike's the name.
while you were talking about the pirate thing, I
Yeah.
also came up with something for the pirates.
what you came up with?
What? I want to hear it.
It's a magical matchstick crew. It comes in a small box, D20, and when you open the box, the matches pop out, and they can help crew your vessel.
Oh, wait,
they're as strong
actually-
as a regular human, but they are very susceptible to flame.
No, wait. Actually,
Would they light themselves to help launch cannonballs?
They would not kill themselves to launch cannonballs.
Actually, no. No, I'll tell you what. No, actually, on the ship we had a magic item. I don't know what the hell it was called, but basically, instead of that, it would summon a skeleton crew. And when I mean skeleton crew,
Yep.
literally a crew of skeletons.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it would crew your ship. You could literally just have yourself on there with your skeleton crew. You summon it once a week, and they work for a week, and they disappear, and you just resummon it. And going to be useful now because I know I kind of want to bring this into their campaign because it's such a cool idea.
That's a
Basically,
good one. I like that.
like Rosa in that reality is actually all by herself right now, using that crew of skeletons to get the ship from place to place.
You're one cleric away from dying.
No, well, yeah, but they're not real. They're not real. I mean, the ship will just sit and the ship will just be.
They can be
stuck.
turned or destroyed by a high enough cleric.
I'm not even
There
sure
you
if
go.
I'm not even sure. I assume they're undead. I'd have to look up the stats.
The skeletons are undead.
No, but I don't know if they're actual skeletons or just like some sort of illusory thing that the
Mannequins.
parents.
Mannequins. There you go.
skeletons. I think they're actual skeletons, so I think you're right.
Their
but-
skeletons named Bernie, and
They
everybody
don't-
thinks they're alive.
Oh, although one thing is they're not a threat because they do not fight. All they do is crew the ship. That's the only thing they do. So it's kind of pointless to blow a high level spell to
So they're
turn
in a
and destroy them.
union.
They're in a union.
They're in a
Exactly.
union, yeah, exactly.
David, take us home.
All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Our guest tonight was Carol. It was Spencer, and our illustrious leader Frank. We just finished out the Socium project magic items for tonight. Next month, I'm not quite sure what the
What are we
subject
doing
matter
again?
is.
Celebrations. Festivals.
Celebrations. Festivals. All right. So we'll have to tune in for that too. I'd like to thank our sponsors tonight again. Oddfish Games, the makers of Adventure Sense, the Radiant system, the Shine system, for creative writing when it comes to your, tabletop RPGs. And Pirate Dog Dice. They make some pretty cruel dice, because the last game that we had with Frank, oh my God, for Calamity.
Oh, Frank.
Anyway, yeah, they were pretty bad.
Oh,
Wait.
One other thing. The boots, the Charleston boots, were made by a cobbler named Pedo from Jep.
Oh,
Nice.
Jesus. Hey, by the way, Frank, I do have to say, too, my Pirate Dog dice that were made for Terran still work for Terran, because I just used them to play her in a game, and they worked.
Yours still need to be cut and polished.
I'm excited,
they're
though.
done.
Satisfied customers. There
I
you
very
go.
much. Yeah, if you get them for a specific character, they will roll really well for that character. They won't roll well for anybody
Only
else.
that character.
Only
that character.
Yeah.
And that held true, because I played in a Pathfinder game, and those were the best dice I had on the table for that Terran.
All right, we're going to close out the show by announcing HoboCon 3 is going to be coming up February 11th. 2023, folks.
Sign up now.
Sign up now. Yeah, $6. Play all day.
We still haven't decided on the charity, but I'm not keeping the money.
We're working on that. So, all right, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Socium project here at Murder Hobo Inc. And everybody, give a big kiss and wave goodbye. Bye, everybody.